Hey, welcome to the channel, all about the blues harmonica. So if you haven't already, thumbs up and subscribe. Okay, today I want to tackle two things really. Motivation for a musician, from a would-be musician, musical instrumentalist say, or anything really. And the other thing I'm going to just talk about very briefly is the professional player that I hear people talk about. Alright, so let me just tackle that first and get this out of the way. It's a big myth. You know, the professional player doesn't mean to say that they're a good player. They might earn some money from blowing the harp in a band. They might only be able to chink away at a few chords in 1, 2 or 3 positions, and that's it. And they probably mimic a little Walter or less than that, a big Walter, or back in the day, or they follow some suit. But it doesn't mean to say they can play. This is the most bought musical instrument in the whole world. The 10-hole diatonic, would you believe? Why? Well, because it's relatively cheap, isn't it? And people who've never done music before think, oh, I'll grab this, do a bit of that, and I can go and do this. Okay? The reason why this thing never gets any respect, because that's how it's portrayed. So let's move on. Motivation for the harmonica, or for anything for that matter. Alright? This motivation usually comes because people put time limits on things and think that it's only going to take so long to do X, Y and Z. Alright? And then if they think, oh, I'm getting behind, or I don't seem to be pushing forward. I don't seem to be. Motivation is temporary. That's the first thing you have to understand. Motivation is temporary. You cannot sustain motivation 24 hours a day. If you did, you'd be dead inside a couple of years. Like being dragged along by somebody shopping and you're not doing any shopping but you're going along for the ride. They're happy as Larry when they've come back from the shops with all their bits and pieces. But you're absolutely drained being dragged along to the shops, right? Same feeling. Some people call it depression, don't they, or whatever, okay? And it manifests itself in many, many different ways. I mean, I have ways that I employ, I suggest to students straight off that they should do. 99% of them don't do it. The ones that do are very successful. I'm not going to tap into that here. But so motivation is temporary. So how do you go about it? So how does life work? Well, life works because within that weave of motivation, okay, of up and down in the troughs, that is where discipline comes in. Disciplining so that you can iron out those troughs from motivation. And that, to me, successfully can only be done, particularly with this. I think you have to be sort of guided in some ways just because of the nature of getting round every note, which you need to be doing in the first couple of years. So remember, if you get anything from this video, motivation is temporary and you have to have something to replace that because you can't sustain that all the time. But that motivation has to be built in intrinsically. You know, the child that goes off to kick the soccer ball isn't being sat down and discussed tactics of what he's going to do with the ball before he goes and kicks the ball against the wall every morning. He just goes and does it. He's motivated to do that. He's intrinsically motivated. Alright? And that's what you have to get your head round here. Whether you're 85 years old and starting out, or whether you're at the other end of the spectrum, it doesn't matter. But if you get with someone like myself that understands the basic psychology of it, you will do very well. And between you find the best ways of doing things. So hopefully that's a few tips for people today. You can get me for lessons on Harp Over Healer Wicks. I'll put a link to some podcasts. I haven't done one for a couple of months. I'll have to do one maybe on some sort of musical philosophy. But there's some really interesting ones. You should check them out. As always, I'll catch you on the rebound.